our Montreux studios in Bulawayo. And Peace Rachel Mnyika will be joining us as a bulletin progresses. But first, let's take a look. National Development Strategy 2 inspires University of Zimbabwe's 5-year strategic plan. And in other news, government avails more than 150 Starlink kits for rural schools. And in sport, Zimbabwean football icon Peter Ndlovu was set to take over as team manager at Scotland FC. We now take a look at the news in detail. The National Development Strategy 2, which was launched in November last year, has been widely embraced by different stakeholders across the economic spectrum as the journey towards Vision 2030 continues to unfold.
The country's economy has undergone massive transformation, especially under the Second Republic. This has been sustained by several economic blueprints, including Development 1, which has brought about the much-needed macroeconomic stability. The NDS-1, which expired last year, was succeeded by the 10-pillar National Development Strategy 2, which is going to guide Zimbabwe's economic growth and development over the next 5 years. This requires collaborative partnership with the stakeholders, including institutions of higher learning. University of Zimbabwe, where the Vice Chancellor of the institution, Professor Paul Mafumo, said their 5-year national strategic plan is inspired by the National Development Strategy 2.
After undertaking the transformation in NDS-1, this has changed the university. The coming of NDS-2, to me, heralds the bigger opportunity to generate impact. We have to set the impact path. Already, we know that we grounded ourselves during NDS-1 by setting up the industrial parks, the innovation hubs. It means that we are generating more than just the human capital. The type of human capital we are producing now speaks to the tenets of the NDS-2.
The National Venture Capital Company of Zimbabwe is a product of the Second Republic, established by the Ministry of Finance and Economic Development to support innovation and create new enterprises. The company's Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Tino Kambasa, said they've expanded a pool of entrepreneurs that they need to support under the National Development Strategy 2.
NDS-2 is based on industrialization, acceleration, innovation, and growth. So the National Venture Capital Company of Zimbabwe has been poised to assist in those areas. And the key areas that we have found that we can assist in is assisting businesses, innovation. So we're taking it upon ourselves to visit every single province.
The private sector has been very involved, not only in the crafting, but also in the implementation of NDS-2, and what we believe is a disciplined approach to the implementation of all the tenets and the KPIs of the NDS-2.
During the launch of the National Development Strategy 2 policy blueprint by President Emmerson Mnangagwa in November last year, he called upon stakeholders such as the University of Zimbabwe and NVCCZ to collaborate in order to attain Vision 2030.
The NDS-2 is thus an outcome of broad-based national consultations. I say to you, well done, Makrokoto Amhlope. It encapsulates the voices, the hopes, and aspirations of our people from across the country. The various perspectives of the private sector, faith-based organizations, development partners, and the diaspora were also taken into account. The National Development Strategy 2 seeks to consolidate the gains achieved to date. In keeping with my administration's focus on professionalism and high work ethic, the implementation of this strategy will be anchored on stakeholder participation, value for money, and the timely delivery of impactful results. All public institutions are challenged, therefore, to develop and ensure service delivery standards that suit our unique local realities, while also dovetailing with global best practices. Through this commitment, my government assures citizens of timely, people-centered, and quality service delivery, befitting an empowered and a prosperous upper middle-income society.
The government has come up with measures to align the tax regime to modern best practices as contained in the 2026 national budget, as well as the review of the regulatory framework to slash fees and levies in order to reduce the cost of doing business. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Acting President, Colonel retired Dr. Nkomo Mohadi has described the late former Vice President John Nkomo as a rare breed of freedom fighters who believed in servant leadership, where people determine their destiny, a philosophy that resonates well with the Second Republic's mantra, Nyika inovakwa nevayo ilizwe lakhiwa ngabanikazi balo. In a statement to commemorate the 13th anniversary of his passing, of the late former Vice President, Acting President Mohadi said Comrade Nkomo was a true nationalist, an astute politician, and a unifier who served government in various portfolios from 1980 until his death on the 17th of January 2013. Dr. Mohadi said the Second Republic embarks on a robust implementation of National Development Strategy 2 from 2026 to 2030. The nation is once again reminded of Comrade Nkomo's wise counsel: peace begins with me, peace begins with you, peace begins with all of us. The acting president rallied the nation to work and maintain peace and continue to defend the national sovereignty. Born on the 22nd of August 1934, Comrade Nkomo died on the 17th of January 2013 while serving as the country's vice president. The country's dairy sector is recording new investments, with Mashonaland East expanding its herd as the province consolidates its position as the leading producer of milk in the country.
The national drive to increase milk production is taking shape, with farmers in Mashonaland East Province increasing their production capacity.
The renewed commitment by farmers is helping to rewrite the narrative of the dairy sector in Mashonaland East Province, with Gushure Farm in Marondera, which started operations 2 years ago, targeting to increase milk production to 20,000 liters per day in the next 2 years.
We're doing dairy farming, and we had a head of about 200 and something. That's 2 years ago. Now we've increased to 500 head of cattle, and we're milking about 5,000 liters a day, and we are pushing towards doing maybe 10,000 to 20,000 a day.
Another new entry, Brighton Skater, now boasts of a head of 200.
Sekuona kwamuri kuita nedonzo rakakurudzirwa nemukuru wedu His Excellence Idi Mnangagwa, vamwe vachikokwa kubva kunyika dzekure, isusu takaonawo kuti titangirewo pamwe navo. Ndo mombe dzatinadzo idzi dziri about 200, tichitarisira kuti tikwanise kunge tichibata pa 500 mwaka unoteera.
The Zimbabwe Association of Dairy Farmers is convinced that Mashonaland East, which accounts for 41% of the national milk production, has the potential to continue growing the dairy industry.
National milk production has been on growth trend, with Mashonaland East Province being the top milk producing province, contributing 41% to the national milk output. This translates over 4 million liters of milk per month. The province output increased from 47 million liters in 2024 to 50 million liters in 2025.
At a national level, milk production increased by 6% from 114.7 million liters in 2024 to 121.8 million liters in 2025, as the country gravitates towards meeting the 130 million liters national requirement.
The level of milk production here is testimony that Mashonaland East Province will continue to set the pace as the leading milk producer in the country. Kenya's Chivushe, ZBC News, Marondera.
The rollout of the Village Business Units initiative in Mutasa district has emerged as a game changer, improving food and nutritional security while creating new income streams for rural households.
A thriving potato crop has been established here at Nyakatapa Village Business Unit, and the farmers here are already reaping the benefits of this Village Business Unit as they are selling their produce at Watomba Business Center. This news crew also spoke to the farmers who testified that the rollout of this Village Business Unit has transformed their lives for the better.
Zvatibatsira isusu sevagari vekunoku kunyanya kunyangwe nemayuthi edu vechidiki vari kubatsirika mufunge vakuwana kwekuswera nekwekuraramira tichiwana mari dzedu.
Ndini production manager we-VBU ine takati toda kutendawo president his excellence Mnangagwa neprogram ye-VBU akatipa ine. Last time takarima 20 pockets and we got something like 4,000 something. So this time takazovandudza takazoisa 40 pockets.
Kufara kuti kumashiro kugarden risati rapo tatisina zvatiri kuita tatakangogara.
Agri-Tex officials here in Mutasa district are also high on record encouraging farmers to continue practicing farming as a business.
Chatiri kuda nechinangwa chehurumende ndechekuti vanhu vasvike vision 2030 vave pa upper middle income status. Anditika kuroti munhu akukwanisa kubatawo 4,000 zvichikwira. So muno mubhuku ramuri kudzidziswa nerinodzidziswa mafarmers kuno vanofanira kuriita roll out kuma communities kuma-communal kwavari kugara.
From the 20 village business units that are set to be established in Mutasa district, 7 village business units are already functional and are already benefiting communities in the area. Gay Matambo, ZBC News, Mutasa.
The ZANU-PF-led government has reaffirmed its commitment to advancing grassroots community development through the rollout of the Presidential Constituency Economic Development Fund.
Nyanga North and South constituencies are the latest to benefit from the Presidential Constituency Empowerment Fund after receiving 25,000 United States dollars each for developmental people-centered projects.
Kutenda chipo chatapiwa na president wana mjiba chimbwiko nebasa ratakabata vari kutitenda nhasi mazvita eri president.
Tinovatenda zvikuru chaizvo. Dai zvikaramba zvakadaro varambe vachitonga nyika yedu ienderere mberi.
Ndotenda nechipo chatapiwa na president maretapiwa maproject.
The program is part of the deliberate efforts by government meant to ensure rural communities develop from income-generating projects.
Saka president vandituma nhasi Nyanga constituency ichabenefita 25,000 Nyanga North 25,000 cash. Nyanga South constituency
the Manicaland provincial leadership applauded this intervention by President Emmerson Mnangagwa, which ensures inclusive development and growth of grassroots communities, noting the importance of unity in development issues.
As a province, we are excited about this program as it is strategic and people-centric. This is an intervention by His Excellency Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, one that reflects clear government and unwavering commitment to grassroots empowerment, inclusive growth, and sustainable national development.
Ndoda kutenda advisor neutungamiri hwese hwekumanicaland nekubatanidza nzvimbo ino yeManicaland. Musangano weZANU-PF wabatana wakufamba nezvakanaka.
The empowerment program comes at a time the Second Republic is implementing several developmental projects in areas which include agriculture, road infrastructure development, and the health sector.
Second Republic na baba wa Mnangagwa baba wanotaura nekuita hatisati tambozviona isu kubva 1980 Dr. Tungwara.
The launch of the empowerment program also saw these constituencies receiving bicycles, while war collaborators from Manicaland province also benefited from a 50,000 United States dollars revolving fund from President Mnangagwa. Non-combatant cadres, ex-political detainees, and widows of the liberation struggle fighters also benefited from a 50,000 United States dollars each revolving empowerment fund. Dr. Tungwarara also handed over funds for the completion of a local clinic in Nyanga, while schools in the area also received internet connectivity kits. Gay Matambo, ZBC News, Nyanga.
Government's review of the business operating framework across all economic sectors has been widely welcomed, with the business community applauding the move.
Chairperson of the Tax Shops Association of Zimbabwe, Mr. Chamnorwa Mukova, underscored how the steep licensing and operating fees had become a hindrance to formalization, adding that this intervention by government improves the ease of doing business.
Mitero yange yakakwira zvakanyanyisa zvekuti ndosaka muri kuona kuti vanhu vakawanda vanga vachizowanikwa vachioperata vachiita semavhenda vanga vachikundikana kubhadhara malicense. Right, tine mitero shop license like a grocery wholesale ranga richiita over $1,200, but nekudzikisa kwaakaita tiri kutarisira kuti achadzika kusvika kuma$500 kunova kudzika kwatinotambira nemufaro zvakanyanya.
In a recent interview with ZBC News, the Minister of ICT, Postal and Courier Services, Honorable Tatenda Maritera, cited how government review of the business operating framework was essential, including in driving downwards the cost of data.
The ICT sector was also part of the initial sectors which needed to have a review of our levies and fees. And we're grateful that we managed to come up with a paper which was presented in Cabinet and approved on us reviewing levies and fees in the ICT sector. What we need to do now is for us to come up with an SI which will implement the Cabinet directive that we already have. And we are grateful that we already engaged the sector and they managed to really highlight the areas that they think we need to improve on.
In September last year, Cabinet took a resolution to slash licensing fees, levies, and registration costs in a bid to promote investment and the ease of doing business, to drive economic growth and development towards the attainment of an upper middle income society by the year 2013. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Government is establishing stronger regulatory pillars to ensure sustainable mining, transparency, mineral accountability, and proper environmental considerations to reduce mishaps in the extractive sector.
While alluvial mining is legislated, the government has not yet authorized its widespread practice. The Minister of Mines and Mining Development, Dr. Polite Kambamura, emphasizes the need for a sustainable framework that attracts responsible investment and prevents past abuses.
Currently, government has not authorized illegal mining. We know there's a lot of gold in our rivers, but it has to be done in a way that's sustainable. We need more investors, foreign investors, to mine our rivers. Alluvial mining, though it is legislated in our Mine and Minerals Act, but we need some pillars, government pillars, to support its operationalization, if we are to approve that. Because we tried that in the past and it was abused. So now we need to come up with strong pillars so that there is transparency, there's mineral accountability, and also there's proper environmental considerations in whatever will be happening.
The minister's comments on regulation come as the ministry responds to a recent cyanide poisoning incident in Shamva that resulted in the death of 7 cattle, casting a spotlight on the adoption of safe mining procedures.
We have laws that govern the mining sector. So if ever there's a breach, the law takes its course. So if ever there are such cases, we'll be happy to, if they are brought to government or to law enforcement agents, and we'll continue to be monitoring mining operations to see that people adhere to set mining standards. And those found on the other side of the law definitely will not hesitate to invoke our legislations, put hefty penalties to such perpetrators so that our people are not disadvantaged, our livestock are not also disadvantaged.
Under the National Development Strategy 2, government is committed to a regulated, safe and environmentally conscious mining sector where legal breaches will be met with strict penalties. Farai Gwaze, ZBC News, Harare.
The Harare City Council has admitted a decades-long failure to manage the city's drainage systems, which has led to the local authority appealing to central government for a bailout.
Pane demu rekupaki. Demu iro rinofanira kunamwa nesimende, kanzuru riri kunama nemadhaga. Zvekuti mvura yakanaya demu rinobva raputika. Musi uno rakaputika mvura yakatipindira mudzimba. Mba mangu inini yakapinda zvekuti dai mwana airara pasi, dai mwana wangu akashaika.
A heartbreaking scene indeed. The voice of a mother fearing for a child's life. But where is the Harare City Council, one might ask? It is there, and this sin is a result of its poor urban planning and a local authority that has failed to provide an adequate drainage system, leaving residents with no kind words.
Kwatiri kuri open hakuna ma-drainage, saka mvura iri kungouya iri kuti affecta even mudzimba mvura iri kupinda.
And while farmers celebrate the beginning of the rainy season, drivers in the nation's capital weep. The contrast is clear because driving in Harare has become a nightmare for residents. The Harare City Council's glaring failure to provide proper service delivery, adequate roads, and now it has become a norm that every rainfall season, drivers must navigate roads that are drowning in water due to the local authorities' ineptitude to provide a proper drainage system.
Notomira kufamba tichiona kuti wakada kupinda pamvura apa pane zipoto rinenge rakaningirikina masambo ari kuboka.
Now, in an interesting turn of events, when quizzed by journalists this Wednesday on what council is doing to deal with the flooding that has troubled the city, for the first time, Harare Mayor Councillor Jacob Mafume exuded a humble tone, admitting they had failed.
We need help, and we are not on top of the what? Of the situation. So no. It's not under It's not under control. What we need is this equipment. We need equipment moving in different directions.
But before asking for a government bailout, what was the Mafume-led townhouse's plan? Because they knew the rains were coming. It was not an unforeseen situation. How do they think this was going to end? And this is not the first time that the Harare City Council has hogged the limelight for all the wrong reasons. In 2024, President Emmerson Mnangagwa appointed a 5-member commission of inquiry into the governance of the local authority since 2017. The commission uncovered extensive corruption and mismanagement, leading to analysts questioning the local authority's ability to run the capital city's affairs. Panashe Nagoli, ZBC News, Harare.
Construction of new health facilities is impacting positively on the country's health delivery system, with the diaspora community complementing government efforts to improve access to quality healthcare services.
After spending 25 years working in the United Kingdom, the Mdokwani sisters, who are nurses by profession, learned to measure lives in heartbeats and came back home to invest in the country's health sector after clarion calls by President Emmerson Mnangagwa for Zimbabweans to take full responsibility of developing their country. They pulled resources together and constructed Ashava Hospital in Caledonia Goromonzi, which is assisting the local residents.
Chipatara chataishandisa chachiri chikuruwa kuruwa kwangu kuri kure, even vanhu vakazvitakura vaenda kumabvuku kure, izvino nechipatara padhuze paane matheater.
Ndakatobatsirikana mune izvozvo zvandakakwanisa kusanganira dambudziko rangu regumbo. Izvezvi ratochinja, ndatopora, ndakutokwanisa kufamba, rasingakwanisa kana kudii, asi ndakutokwanisa zvese.
Vatitira zvakanaka nenhau yekuti tagara nawo titori mudzimba, kurwara kwemwana kwadikidiko wasvika, pasingadi transport tinofamba netsoka.
Tinotenda neashava because yakakwanisa kutipa 24-hour service yekuti chero nguva yawasangana nedambudziko unokwanisa kuuya uchibatsirwa.
One of the hospital directors, Tsitsi Mdokwani, is proud that the skills honed in UK hospitals are now being used to save lives in her home country, adding that they were motivated by President Mnangagwa's call for Zimbabweans in diaspora to invest back home.
Ini nemningi wangu Victorious Mdokwani. Tiri manesi. Tane zvakawanda zvataona kunze kwenyika kuEngland kwatantiri for more than 25 years. Saka ndobva tati ngatiite chipatara. Isusu panapa tine a small accident and emergency yekuti munhu akanga auya anosikobatsirwa kumisa ropa riya kubuda, obatsirwa kuti ave stable, then ambulance yedu yomutakura yomuendesa kuchipatara chikuru, tinenge tasevha upenyu hwemunhu. Vanoita mastroke zvakangofanana kekare. Uyezve tine theatre, a mini theatre iri pano.
Efforts are being made to increase the number of services being offered at the modern health facility, which provides 24-hour service.
Services edu achazenge apo in the near future. They are still under commissioning at the moment. We are undergoing registration of services, like we've got our X-ray radiological department, where we'll be doing X-rays, ultrasound scanning, and then we are also going to be offering laboratory services, which include biochemistry, hematology, and microbiology services. And then we are also going to be opening a dental center.
This investment into the health sector is not only changing the destiny of the investors, but the lives of the entire community. Kenya Sifuje, ZBC News, Goromonzi.
Well, for more news, you can log on to our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw. You can also find us on our X handle at ZBC News Online. We're also on Facebook and YouTube at ZBC News Online. But here are some stories to expect in the bulletin. Government avails more than 150 Starlink kits for schools and in sports, Zimbabwean football icon Peter Ndlovu was set to take over as team manager at Scotland FC. The news will be taking a break. Don't go away.
Unearthing the hidden. In-depth analysis. 24 investigates, shines the light in the dark corners affecting our society. We go in-depth to tell the complete story. 24 investigates, dedicated to promoting accurate, factual and accountable news reportage. Nothing remains concealed forever.
Nyika inovakwa nevene vayo.
Welcome back. Let's carry on with the news. The Second Republic's commitment to bridging the digital divide between rural and urban learners is on display, with Galaza Primary School in Gwanda receiving ICT equipment from the government and its development partners.
Underserved communities in Matebeleland South. Schools are being turned into digital hubs fitted with computer laboratories, the internet, and a reliable solar system. This has been enabled by government and its development partner UNICEF that has established solar plants in 154 schools. In response, government has availed 154 Starlink kits, setting an unprecedented foundation in the establishment of a digitally empowered education system. And today we are at Galaza Primary School, a mere village school beyond Tuli River that is the latest to benefit. Turning schools into digital hubs was one of the deliverables under the National Development Strategy 1, with emphasis now being harnessing the power of artificial intelligence under the National Development Strategy 2 and DS2.
This gesture reflects a shared vision of ensuring that every child, regardless of where they live, has access to quality education and the tools they need to thrive.
We are saying, without ambiguity, that digital inclusion must begin early, and that rural schools such as Galaza must never be left behind in Zimbabwe's digital transformation journey.
Through partnerships, community social responsibility and development partners, Matebeleland South has witnessed an unprecedented number of schools being turned into digital incubation hubs, with Blanket Mine transforming City's secondary school, while the World Vision Profituro program has made rural schools go paperless.
ICT promotes inclusivity by offering resources to students with disabilities and those in remote areas, thereby bridging educational and digital gaps. By preparing learners for a technology-driven workforce,
Zimbabwe has made strides in bridging the digital divide between rural and urban schools, with over 9,000 schools out of 12,000 schools connected to the internet. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Gwanda.
Well, that'll be all from the Montrose News Desk. I am Sibiela Maposa. Now handing over to Zain and Leanne in Harare for the rest of the bulletin from this end. Good evening, and over to you, Zain and Leanne.
Well, it is a beautiful evening, Sibukele. It's always a pleasure seeing you there on the other side of the screen. Taking it up now from the capital, I am Leanne Bernard.
Absolutely, and I am Zain Jama. We'll bring it back to our Parkatsul studios and jump straight into the next report, where Chiredzi West constituency member of parliament, Darlington Chiwa, who was arrested on allegations of theft after he allegedly diverted the constituency development funds, was remanded in custody to Monday, where he appeared before Mashingo court this Saturday. Let's take a look at that report.
Chiwa's arrest was confirmed by the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, ZAC, in a post on its X handle this Saturday. Chiwa, as the chairperson of the Chiredzi West CDF, allegedly became the sole signatory to the constituency bank account after he allegedly manipulated other community members to rescind their responsibilities over the account. Investigations by ZAC established that in April 2025, the Parliament of Zimbabwe transferred 1,332,430 ZiG, equivalent to 50,000 United States dollars, to the Chiredzi West constituency account, and the accused transferred the funds into his personal accounts. It is alleged that the legislator used funds amounting to 993,241 ZiG to buy building material, groceries, shoes, and beer for himself, and channeled only 270,427 ZiG towards constituency projects. The MP is said to have submitted fraudulent acquittal documents to Parliament, falsely claiming the full amount had been used for school development. Fungai Jachi, ZBC News, Chiredzi.
That story there taking us to a break. When we return with the sports news after these messages. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. We dive straight into sport, where Zimbabwean football icon Peter Ndlovu is set to take over as team manager at the reigning Castle Lager Premier Soccer League champion Scotland. The former Warriors captain, who previously served as team manager at Mamelodi Sundowns in South Africa, is reportedly in advanced talks with Mavirawira.
Emotions as Nigeria secured bronze medal at the AFCON 2025, defeating Egypt 4-2 in a penalty shootout after a goalless draw in regulation time.
Meanwhile, the stage is set for an epic showdown between host Morocco, the Atlas Lions, and Senegal, the Lions of Teranga, in the AFCON 2025 final at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium in Rabat this Sunday.
As the curtains come down in Rabat with a grand finale between these two African powerhouses, a clash for continental supremacy, one thing is surely clear: the lion will reign supreme and rule Africa at the end of the day. It will be a clash of the titans between the Lions of Teranga and the Atlas Lions, both aiming for their second continental crown. Morocco has been nearly impenetrable, conceding just one goal in the tournament, while Senegal has scored 10 goals, with Sadio Mane leading the charge, bagging half of them. The Atlas Lions have relied on Ibrahim Diaz's 5 goals and Yassine Bounou's exceptional goalkeeping, serving crucial penalties. Morocco has historically dominated Senegal, winning 18 of their 31 encounters, while Senegal managed just 6 wins. However, the Lions of Teranga have been on a roll, unbeaten in their last 17 AFCON matches. Morocco's defensive masterclass has allowed just 5 shots on target in 6 games, keeping 5 shootouts en route to the title match. However, their defensive solidity will be tested by Senegal's support and attack. The Lions of Teranga have scored in every round, led by Mane's clinical finishing. Nicholas Jackson is likely to start up front, with Mane and Elemen Daye flanking him. The two roaring lions of Morocco and Senegal are ready to clash, and Morocco's tactical discipline and home advantage might just give them an edge over Senegal. But don't count out the Lions of Teranga. Anna Shemrombedzi, ZBC News, Harare.
Well, we'll find out who the true lion of the jungle is tomorrow in the final, Zane. That's a wrap on the news at 8 from us here at Pocket Hill, as well as Sibukile Maposa, who joined us from our Montreux studios. It's good night.
Good night.